Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we're diving deep into cases that keep you up at night. Today, we're bringing you an update on 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, mother of beloved Today Show anchor Savanna Guthrie. Last night, there was a major movement in this investigation. 3 deputies pulled up to Annie Guthrie's house in Tucson. At first, it wasn't sure if they were local cops or feds, but when they left, the deputy logos on their vehicles were clear as day. These weren't quick visits. They were inside for nearly 3 full hours. They brought equipment with them, and through the windows, you could see flashes, camera flashes going off in different rooms, starting near the garage and then moving deeper into the house. They wore blue gloves when they finally emerged, loaded up without saying a word to anyone outside, and drove off slowly into the night. The timing? Extremely suspicious. This happened right around or just after Savanna Guthrie released her latest public video. In it, she said something that stopped a lot of us in our tracks. Let me read her exact words for you. "We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay." Before we break down what that really means and why the activity at Annie's house matters so much, we need to understand who Savanna Guthrie truly is. She's not just a TV personality. This woman built her entire career on words, precise, calm, unflinching words. She went to Harvard Law School. She's guided millions through presidential debates, Supreme Court decisions, and international crises without ever cracking on live television. Yet, since the night her mother disappeared on January 31st, 2026, Savanna has been unusually quiet in public, not because she has nothing to say, but because what she might know or who she might suspect is too dangerous to voice before investigators give the green light. That calculated silence, it's one of the heaviest elements in this entire mystery. On January 31st, everything changed for the Guthrie family. Nancy Guthrie, an 84-year-old woman with a heart condition, limited mobility, and a strict daily medication routine, took an Uber to her eldest daughter Annie's home in the upscale Catalina Foothills neighborhood of Tucson. She arrived around 5:32 p.m. for what was supposed to be a normal family evening: dinner, games, the kind of low-key gathering that keeps families connected. Annie is the oldest of Nancy's 3 children. Savanna is the middle child, the famous one, and Cameron is the youngest. Birth order doesn't decide guilt, but it does shape access and opportunity. Annie lives right there in Tucson. She's the one whose home Nancy visited regularly. The last confirmed night of Nancy's freedom was spent at Annie's kitchen table. Annie knew her mother was coming, she knew the exact arrival time, and she knew that when the night ended, Nancy would head back to her own house just 4 miles away, alone, vulnerable, with no live-in caregiver and no one checking on her until Sunday morning. That kind of intimate operational knowledge isn't something you guess from afar. Investigators picked up on it immediately. They didn't just knock on doors in Annie's neighborhood once and call it a day. They returned multiple times, asking the same neighbors the same detailed questions about the same narrow time window. Former FBI agents have publicly noted that repeated canvassing like this is a red flag. It usually means the first pass uncovered something that demanded follow-up, or new leads kept pulling them back to the exact same street. Law enforcement agencies under pressure don't waste resources on the same block without solid reasons. Each return was tied to fresh information pointing directly at that location. Savanna, with her legal background, understands how these patterns work. Investigations narrow like a funnel. They don't circle the same house by accident. Yet publicly, Savanna has said almost nothing about the repeated visits to her sister's street. Not one word. That silence speaks volumes. Let's talk about the ride home that night. When dinner and game night wrapped, why didn't Annie drive her own mother back?
The distance was only 4 miles. Nancy was elderly, had serious heart issues, and relied on help for many things. In most families, the eldest daughter would insist on making sure Mom got home safely. But that's not what happened. Instead, it was Annie's husband, Tommaso Cioni, who got behind the wheel. He helped Nancy into his car, made the short drive, pulled into her garage around 9:48 p.m., walked her inside, and the garage door closed at 9:50 p.m. That was the last time anyone outside the immediate family confirmed seeing Nancy alive and well. There are innocent explanations, of course. Maybe Tommaso offered. Maybe Annie was exhausted after hosting. Maybe it was just easier logistically. Investigators don't get paid to accept the easiest story, though. They test every possibility against the bigger picture. What does it mean that Tommaso, not Annie, was the last confirmed person to see Nancy transition from family time back into solitude? That creates a clear chain of last contact that runs straight through him. He drove the route, he entered the garage, he saw the exact conditions of her home that night. If someone in that household had any foreknowledge of what might happen hours later, choosing who drives Mom home becomes more than a casual decision. It becomes strategic positioning. Tommaso at the final handoff, Annie kept one step removed. That's not emotional speculation. That's structural analysis of how opportunities are created or avoided. Early in February 2026, journalist Ashley Banfield reported that a vehicle connected to Annie and Tommaso's household, specifically linked to Tommaso, had been towed away for evidence. Not long after, the Pima County Sheriff's Department stated that the entire Guthrie family had been cleared as suspects and considered victims only. The language was definitive, yet that vehicle stayed in custody. Weeks later, even into mid-March, it hadn't been returned. Professionals raised eyebrows at that. If a family's fully cleared, why hold on to their property for forensic processing that long? Sheriff Chris Nanos, in interviews, explained that the investigation involved seizing phones, computers, vehicles, and thoroughly processing homes. This includes extracting data, checking GPS history, proximity logs, movement patterns, and trace evidence that could link people or objects to specific times and places. When phones and computers get returned, it often signals analysis is complete. But a vehicle still held after 6 weeks? That suggests something inside it, physical traces, digital data, or patterns, remains highly relevant and unresolved. On February 4th, just days after Nancy vanished, TMZ captured footage of law enforcement at Annie and Tommaso's home. One agent wore a shirt with IAC, Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. That's a specialized unit dealing with digital evidence, encrypted messages, hidden files, and tech-related crimes. These tools aren't brought casually. They're deployed when investigators have a specific device and strong reason to believe it holds critical answers. What exactly was recovered? Still not public, even weeks later. And remember, that vehicle is still being held. Savanna knows about the Celebrite. She knows about the vehicle, yet she stayed publicly silent on those specifics. Now, shift to March 2nd. Exactly 1 month and 1 day after Nancy was reported missing. Savanna returned to Tucson and visited the memorial outside her mother's home. Yellow flowers, notes, candles left by the community near the mailbox. She wasn't alone. Her sister Annie and brother-in-law Tommaso stood with her. The footage from that day has been analyzed endlessly. Former prosecutor Nancy Grace reviewed it and pointed out how Savanna put her arm around Tommaso and pulled him close. To Grace, that gesture signaled trust. Savanna didn't appear to believe Tommaso was involved. But let's look closer at the body language in that 3-person frame. Savanna embraces Tommaso warmly. With her sister Annie, the positioning feels more measured, less instinctive. 2 sisters sharing the same loss, yet the emotional distance doesn't look equal. Savanna is a trained communicator and lawyer. She knows how images are read by millions. Nothing in her public appearances since February 1st seems accidental. Every gesture, every placement, every word is likely calculated with legal and investigative awareness in mind. That memorial moment sent a public signal, and Savanna chose precisely what it would convey. Let's go back to the night of the disappearance itself. The masked man caught on Nancy's doorbell camera wasn't some random opportunist acting on impulse. Professionals who studied the footage described it as targeted, planned, and based on inside knowledge. He approached with confidence, almost like he belonged there. He knew the camera, tried to disable it, and when that didn't work, quickly used a plant to block the lens. He adapted fast, suggesting familiarity with the property. Crucially, he knew Nancy would be alone. No caregiver, no visitors,
No pets to complicate things. He came prepared for one specific person. He also understood her vulnerabilities. Nancy's Apple Watch, phone, and daily heart medications were left behind. That wasn't slappy, it was deliberate. Her pacemaker was synced to her phone. Leaving the meds created a biological timer. At 2:28 a.m., the pacemaker signal went silent. Investigators believe that silence was anticipated. This wasn't random knowledge of one night, it was knowledge of a pattern. Saturday nights when Nancy traveled to family dinners, creating a predictable window. FBI agents have zeroed in on 2 earlier Saturdays, January 11th and January 24th. Neighbors reported federal agents going door to door, asking specifically for security camera footage from those dates. Both were Saturdays, matching the family dinner routine. One was 8 days before the abduction, the other 3 weeks prior. Someone had been watching this family's private rhythm. Uber rides, dinners at Annie's, the quiet schedule that wasn't publicly posted anywhere. The map of the masked man's knowledge keeps folding back to one place, the dinner table inside Annie Guthrie's home in Tucson. On February 7th, 7 days after Nancy was reported missing, the 3 siblings, Savanna, Annie, and Cameron, released a family statement. One line stands out: "We received your message and we understand." Those 8 words were not off the cuff. According to analysts, the video looked scripted, likely reviewed by lawyers and law enforcement. "We received your message" implies direct, specific communication, not vague rumors. Just days earlier, experts thought the family was trying to prompt contact. By February 7th, the language shifted. Something real had arrived. That same period saw a second note sent to a local TV station with insider details meant to prove it was authentic. It wasn't demanding money up front, it was establishing credibility. Savanna's "we understand" doesn't sound like confusion, it sounds like recognition. When she reads those words on camera, her delivery is precise and controlled. Cameron looks emotionally heavy. Annie's reaction? Watch closely. It lands differently, like managing something already familiar rather than brand new information. Each of these details, the held vehicle, the digital forensic tools, repeated neighborhood visits, who drove mom home, the body language at the memorial, the insider knowledge of the kidnapper, can be explained innocently on its own. Processing takes time. Units respond to many things. Family logistics vary, but put them together and a pattern emerges. Not pointing outward to a total stranger, but curving inward toward the household where Nancy spent her last known evening. 7 separate threads, all leading back to the same dinner table in Tucson. This brings us to the man behind the mask. The FBI profile describes a male around 5'9" to 5'10", average build, wearing a ski mask, dark clothes, gloves, and carrying a specific black 25L Ozark Trail backpack sold only at Walmart. They're tracing purchases. One odd detail jumped out. The firearm and holster didn't match, a small semi-automatic in a holster meant for a larger revolver. Experts called it distinctive, suggesting someone who carries regularly as part of their daily identity, not a hardened career criminal. Within Tommaso's social circle, he's the lead vocalist in a local Americana rock band. There's drummer Dominic Evans, an elementary school teacher with a similar athletic build. Online speculation linked him quickly after the footage dropped. He spoke to the New York Times, confirmed he'd been interviewed by investigators for about 40 minutes, provided an alibi, home with family, and emphasized he wasn't charged or named a suspect. Still, the fact that someone in that immediate orbit was questioned shows investigators are looking at proximity and access to family routines. The forensic side supports an inward focus too. DNA recovered from Nancy's home doesn't match her or close contacts. It didn't hit CODIS, the national database, meaning no prior criminal record for that profile. They're now using genetic genealogy, the same technique that caught the Golden State Killer, building family trees from commercial DNA sites. That suggests the perpetrator may look ordinary: a job, community ties, relationships, someone known, not a loner outsider. Investigators are also digging through Celebrite-extracted data, vehicle GPS, thousands of hours of footage, and the backpack's retail trail. The shift of the command center from Tucson to Phoenix signals they're moving from collection to deep analysis, where patterns turn into prosecutable proof. For over 7 weeks, Savanna Guthrie has carried a heavy kind of knowledge. Sources describe her as angry, especially at narratives that she feels distort the truth. On February 15th, she posted, "You're not lost or alone, and it is never too late to do the right thing." That's not typical language for addressing a random stranger. It feels personal, like speaking to someone reachable, someone with a conscience still intact, perhaps someone from a world she knows well, including that Saturday dinner table. Despite the missing medication, the silent pacemaker at 2:28 a.m., and no confirmed remains, law enforcement still holds hope Nancy could be alive. Sheriff Nanos has said they're definitely closer, a careful phrase in such a high-profile case. The U.S.-Mexico border is only about 60 miles south, and authorities were briefed early. A detention operation in Rio Rico was checked, though no charges followed. The possibility of transport hasn't been ruled out. The genealogy work continues. Digital evidence is being mined. The gap between observed patterns and courtroom proof is narrowing every day. Somewhere in that gap is the answer to the most urgent question: where is Nancy Guthrie? She is 84. She needs daily medication. She can't survive indefinitely without help. Yet nothing has closed the door on the chance she's being held by someone waiting for the right moment. That window isn't open forever. Let's revisit Savanna's latest video and that powerful line: "We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay." As a Harvard-trained lawyer and seasoned journalist, Savanna doesn't speak loosely. Every syllable is weighed. "We received your message" suggests something direct and verifiable reached the family, not just media speculation. The shift from earlier pleas to acknowledging receipt indicates contact happened. The offer to pay, combined with the emotional appeal to celebrate with her and find peace, shows desperation mixed with strategy. They're treating this as potentially credible ransom, even while law enforcement processes it carefully. The activity at Annie's house last night, 3 deputies spending hours inside with cameras flashing, lines up with this timing. Were they executing a search warrant tied to new information from that message? Were they reprocessing areas for trace evidence now that more is known? The blue gloves suggest careful evidence collection to avoid contamination. No comments to bystanders, slow departure. This feels like a deliberate, quiet escalation rather than routine follow-up. Why does Savanna's public restraint matter so much? Because in high-stakes cases involving people close to the victim, family members often know fragments that don't fit neatly into public statements. They protect, they wait, they let professionals lead. Savanna's transformation from anchor to grieving daughter was visible, stepping back from the Olympics coverage, posting raw pleas holding her siblings' hands, placing yellow flowers at the memorial. But behind the camera, sources say she was intensely focused and angry at certain narratives, particularly those zeroing in too narrowly or incorrectly on individuals. Experienced investigators watch for who stands together at memorials and who maintains distance. They note who drives the vulnerable family member home and who doesn't. They track repeated law enforcement interest in one location. Savanna understands this playbook perfectly. Her silence isn't emptiness, it's discipline. Tommaso driving Nancy the 4 miles home isn't automatically sinister. Families make practical choices every day. But in abduction cases from a victim's own residence, the last confirmed contact is scrutinized heavily. Tommaso saw the garage, the interior conditions, the exact moment Nancy was alone again. If any planning occurred within the broader social or family orbit, that handoff moment becomes a critical node. Annie remaining at her own home creates separation from that final transition.
structural, not necessarily emotional. The towed vehicle linked to the household adds another layer. Even after the family was publicly cleared as suspects, a statement from the sheriff emphasizing they are victims, the vehicle stayed. Forensic vehicle analysis can take weeks because of the volume of data. Tire impressions, interior traces, electronic logs, paint transfers, biological material. Holding it this long implies ongoing relevance, perhaps GPS data contradicting or confirming statements, or trace evidence linking movements on January 11th, 24th, or 31st. The IAC agent and Celebrite on February 4th were striking. Internet Crimes Against Children task forces cross over into digital forensics for all kinds of cases involving encryption or hidden data. Ransom notes sent via email, apps, or dark web channels often require that expertise. Celebrite specifically bypasses locks and recovers deleted files. Bringing it to the scene suggests they had a target device in mind right away. What conversations, deleted searches, location pings, or financial trails were on it? We don't know publicly, but the fact it hasn't been broadly discussed by the family adds to the weight of their careful communication. The March 2nd memorial footage remains one of the most analyzed clips. Savanna walking arm in arm, placing flowers, the three of them together. Nancy Grace's take that the embrace of Tommaso suggested no suspicion toward him is compelling. Yet behavioral experts also note the overall dynamics, the measured space between the sisters, the controlled expressions. Savanna knows cameras are rolling. She's signaling unity while perhaps protecting investigative integrity. In true crime cases, these micro moments
often reveal more than press releases. The kidnapper's actions on the doorbell camera scream insider knowledge, confidence in approach, awareness of the camera, quick improvisation with the plant, no preparation for extra people or animals, leaving behind items that would trigger alerts or medical issues. The pacemaker going silent at 2:28 a.m. feels timed. The focus on prior Saturdays, Jan 11th and 24th, for camera footage requests shows someone studied the routine, a private family rhythm centered around Annie's home dinners. That knowledge had to come from somewhere close. When the siblings recorded their February 7th statement, the "we understand" line landed unevenly. Savanna delivered it like approved language. Cameron processed visible grief. Annie's micro-expressions have been debated. Does it look like confirmation of something already internalized? Behavioral incongruity is a key tool for analysts when reactions don't perfectly match the moment's expected emotion. Dominic Evans, the drummer in Tommaso's band, being questioned makes sense under the proximity theory. Similar build to the masked figure, local connection. He provided an alibi and was cleared publicly of being a suspect, but his interview shows how investigators cast a wide but targeted net through social and professional circles. Someone in that world might have overheard details about Nancy's schedule, medication, living alone on Saturdays. The DNA angle is fascinating and hopeful. Unknown male DNA at the scene, not in CODIS. No hits on family or known associates. Genetic genealogy is now the tool, uploading to ancestry databases, building trees, narrowing to distant relatives, then closer. It's slow but powerful. When it hits, the case could move fast from identification to charges. The perpetrator likely doesn't look like a monster. Average guy with a job, perhaps ties to the Tucson music or teaching scene. Meanwhile, the investigation has layered tools, device extractions, vehicle forensics, massive surveillance review from Quantico, backpack tracing through Walmart. The command center move to Phoenix suggests consolidation for analysis, not giving up. Savanna's February 15th message, "You're not lost or alone, and it is never too late to do the right thing," feels directed at someone specific, not a faceless criminal, but a person who might still choose redemption. That implies familiarity with the mindset involved. Geographically, the border proximity keeps the transport theory alive. Briefings with Mexican authorities happened early, no closure yet. Nancy Ellen Guthrie, born January 27, 1942, lived a life of faith,
family routines, Saturday dinners, Sunday church. She raised her kids in Tucson with consistency and love. On January 31st, she went to Annie's for what should have been another normal night. The garage door closed at 9:50 p.m. Sometime after, someone who knew precisely how to enter, how to take her without immediate alarm, changed everything. She deserves to be found. She deserves answers. The family deserves peace. The investigation is narrowing. Patterns are becoming evidence. If you have any information, no matter how small, a tip about vehicles, conversations, sightings on those key Saturdays, or anything from the Tucson area, contact the FBI tip line immediately. Anonymous tips are accepted. This case reminds us how quickly normal life can shatter. An elderly mother, a family dinner, a short drive home, and then silence. Stay vigilant. Share this video if it resonates. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the answers lie close to home or farther out? What stands out most about Savanna's silence? Have you followed similar cases where family statements revealed more than intended? In the coming weeks, we'll keep updating as new developments drop. The DNA results, any vehicle return, further statements. Thank you for watching.
Often reveal more than press releases. The kidnapper's actions on the doorbell camera scream insider knowledge, confidence in approach, awareness of the camera.